Portia, what's up next on the Fox Files?
And coming up next on the Fox File, Jason Ashford with the Houston County DA's office answers all your questions about domestic violence. The number to call, 741-5510, so get calling, and we'll see you after the break on the Fox Files.
Now, Fox 24 News presents your only live connection to the newsmakers of Middle Georgia. Live from the Fox 24 studios, it's the Fox Files with Alexia Ridley.
Hello and welcome to the Fox Files. Tonight we're discussing domestic violence. Our phone number is 478-741-5510, and we'll start taking your calls in a moment. But first, let's meet tonight's guest, Mr. Jason Ashford, who's with the Houston County District Attorney's Office, and you are the Chief Assistant District Attorney, correct?
That's correct.
Yes, second only to the big guy.
The big guy, Kelly Burke, that's right.
Who I think will be on next month as well. So We'll have double duty with the Houston County DA's office.
We need all the help we can get.
Well, Jason, obviously you discussed domestic violence, a serious matter, and Houston County is kind of proactive about this. Tell us some of the things that you guys are doing to kind of prevent it, get a jump on it, and obviously, unfortunately, you have to prosecute perpetrators.
Sure. And one thing that I want to do is thank you for giving the opportunity to talk about domestic violence, and also to be able to really get the word out about making sure that domestic violence awareness is a key issue, and that's one of the big things that your show does and your organization does. As far as the DA's office, we use technology a lot. Anybody can go into our website, houstonda.org. We have a whole list of links and useful information that will be able to help victims and be able to hopefully get them the help that they need. Really, everything that we do is focused on victims, and that's what we try to do.
Right. And what are some of the agencies you work with? I know you can't do it all alone, because there are agencies in your area that support people in terms of getting out of the situation, telling them what to do, safe houses, that kind of thing.
Safe House is a very important organization for us because that gives the opportunity for victims to be able to go to someplace safe that they know they're not going to be reoffended. And that's why we keep the location of the Safe House so confidential. HODAC is also a big organization for us. It used to stand for the Houston County Drug Awareness Council. Now it's just HODAC. And HODAC is a great organization. They provide the buffer between us and the victims, because prosecutors, we're usually in court, we're usually unavailable, and so those victims assistance people are absolutely crucial to give their voice in the whole criminal justice system.
And Jason, what would you say the problem is in Houston County, just like anywhere, cuts across all lines?
It really does. It cuts across economic, social lines, educational lines. I'm also president, as you know, I'm president and chairman of the Houston County Violence Prevention Council. And this council is tasked with the idea, it's basically a threefold kind of organization. We focus on awareness, which is your station goes a long way to increasing that awareness. It goes towards educating offenders, and it goes to also getting first responders and educating first responders. So that threefold kind of process is what we hope to be able to attack domestic violence and deal with it at its source.
All right, Jason, thank you. We're going to have to take a break, but don't go away. The Fox Files will be right back. We'll start taking your calls. Plus, we'll have another look at the day's news and weather. Thank you, Eddie. Jason, let's go ahead and start taking some calls. We'll take Sarah first this segment. Hi, Sarah. What's your question for Jason?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Sarah.
I was abused by my ex-husband for 14 years. He has been currently charged, I think, with abusing underage children and child pornography. And I just want to know how it stands.
You want to know how what?
How it stands with Houston County.
How it stands with Houston County? I'm not sure.
You're talking about your case? Your husband's case?
My ex-husband's case.
You wanted to know the status of your ex-husband's case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I can't give you the status on your husband's case here right now. Certainly, if you call me in the office, 218-4810, I'll be happy to talk to you, but I can tell you generally how we handle those kind of cases. Child molestation cases are among the most serious cases that we handle, and prison time is usually what's going to be in the horizon. So with child molestation and child abuse cases, you can expect that he's going to go to prison. The only question is how long.
And Jason, she brings up an interesting point. She said she'd been abused for 14 years. Certainly in that length of time, things have gotten tougher. It's gotten much tougher on people who are offenders.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why the Special Victims Unit in the Houston County DA's office has decided a few years ago to combine the child molestation cases and the child sex crime cases and the domestic violence caseload into one caseload, because the thinking was violence in the home is violence in the home, and whether it's sexual abuse or physical abuse or even mental abuse, all those kinds of things contribute to a violence in the home, and those kinds of cases need specialized treatment and they need specialized prosecutors.
I know sometimes we've gotten people who called and, you know, maybe the victim is afraid to tell the police that they've been abused, so you don't necessarily need a victim to go ahead and press charges.
That's right. The victim, we take the victim's wants and needs into account, but the victim, especially in domestic violence cases, is not in the driver's seat in terms of whether we go forward on a case or not. Whether we go forward on a case or not, it's a prosecutorial decision, and ultimately the district attorney's office is going to decide whether to go forward with a case. We understand that the victim's needs are important, but we also have to think of a broader scenario, and that is, where are they going to offend next? Who are they going to pick next to abuse? So it's not always just about the victim.
Right. Well, we are going to take another short break right now, but stay with us. The Fox Files will be right back. Welcome back to the Fox Files. We're going to take Michael first this segment. Hi, Michael. What's your question for Jason?
Yes. I have a question regarding why does Houston County tend to protect female violators of mental and physical abuse to husbands and their children?
Okay, Michael, so that's definitely a question for you. Could you hear him?
Well, we don't protect any criminals. In fact, that's the complete opposite of what our focus is on. But the reality is female violators are a very small minority. And what's much more common are male violators. And I'm speaking as a male. The reality is males are the ones that perpetrate the vast majority of the domestic violence, both in our country and in our county. And we hear that a lot about it's really the woman that's bringing this on, but that's just not been our experience.
You know, Jason, we do hear that a lot, and as you said earlier, you're particularly tough if, say, a female offender is abusing children.
Sure.
But you'll go after a female offender who abuses her spouse as well.
No question. In fact, one of the last cases that I tried was you probably recall the burn baby case, and the mother went to prison. The boyfriend was responsible for the bulk of the injuries, but the mother went to prison as well. So, in the last murder trial that I prosecuted, it was the woman that was charged with murder, and she was convicted and went off to prison as well.
I guess Michael, I'm assuming that if there is evidence that a woman has been the offender and has been abusing her spouse, if you call the authorities, I'm sure they will certainly take that into consideration.
Exactly. We certainly will. We're an equal opportunity prosecutor.
The difference, I think, sometimes is people often call here and say, you know, the woman starts it or something, but if it's equal abuse or they're both fighting, chances are the woman's going to get the short end of it.
Yeah, that's been our experience. Men just physically are a lot more capable of causing injury, and so it can start off as a mutual combat, but usually the woman is going to be on the losing end of it.
And Jason, I know we'll get back to domestic violence, but I know before we left, I do want to ask you something about the Gang Awareness Council, because you're also on that.
Right, and that's another big focus of Houston County is we recognize that while Houston County doesn't have a tremendous gang problem, we also recognize that we can't bury our head in the sand, And we do have members of gangs. We do track them, and we have them all in our computer system. And we will continue to be vigilant on the gang problem, because if we don't, it'll hit us before we know what to do about it. So it's something we're proactive about.
I'll ask you a little bit about the seminars you provide to let parents and people in the community know about the gangs, but let's go ahead and take another caller right now. We'll take Isabel next. Hi, Isabel.
Hello?
Hi, what's your question tonight for Jason?
Yes, I have a question. I am calling for a friend. She's been the victim of domestic violence, and I don't know how to get her out of it. She keeps telling me that the guy loves her every time after he maybe hits her or punches her. Gets to the point where she, last time she ended up in the hospital, she decides not to press charges. So I was wondering what, as a friend from the outside looking in, what can I do to help?
That's a really good question, Isabel.
It is, and it's very frustrating, I imagine, for you. And one of the strongest urges you have to do is to try to convince your friend to get out of the situation and to express your opinions about the abuser. What we found happens when you do that is it drives a wedge between you and your friend. The better course of action is probably just to be able to provide the support that she needs in a non-judgmental way as much as you can. And I know that's difficult. It's very difficult to provide that kind of help and assistance, but if you don't, you're liable to drive that friend away. And so I encourage you to contact HODAC in Houston County. If this is a Houston County person, contact HODAC and get yourself some help in how to deal with this, and then you can help your friend all that much better.
Thank you for the call, Isabel. And I did want to ask you, switching the topics again, I'm sorry, about the Gang Awareness Council. I know that you guys have had seminars before where you actually kind of show people what they should be on the lookout for, because a lot of people have no idea what the signs of, you know, being in a gang are in this area.
Right, and we had one just recently in Warner Robins, and it really is important to get out to parents, especially parents and teachers, what to look for a lot of these gang members, and we've been real gratified by the response we've had by all those seminars we've had.
Yeah, some good news. Sorry, Adam, we won't be able to take your call tonight, but Jason will be back next month, so check in with him then, or you can also call the Houston County DA's office. That's it for this edition of the Fox Files. Please tune in next time for our guest, Jason Ashford. I'm Alexia Ridley. Thanks for watching Fox 24 News at 10. Now stay tuned for Scrubs. Good night.